Good afternoon. I'm Ben Souchek, and welcome to my Zoom video this week. This week, I have a couple of great people on with me today, and they are from NIFA, which stands for Nebraska Investment Finance Authority. And I thought when we're talking about first-time home buyers and home buying in general, that there would be no better authority than to have a couple people from NIFA come on board and ask them a few questions that I think would be very beneficial for any first-time home buyer, especially here in Nebraska. So Amanda Wusk and Stacy Fotinos, welcome to the Zoom call today.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks, Ben.
Absolutely. First of all, if people don't know, if they are a first-time home buyer watching this, I would assume they might have heard about NIFA. But just in case, what is NIFA?
I'll cover this topic. Like Ben had mentioned, my name's Amanda Wusk. I'm the Marketing and Relationship Manager for NIFA. And we get this question a lot. Who is NIFA? What do we do? So NIFA, we are a quasi-governmental agency. We don't receive any of our funding from the state, and we are the state housing finance agency. So every state across the nation has a housing finance agency. And we were designed to serve low to moderate income families and individuals. And we provide programs for first-time home buyers. We have a rental housing department as well as an agriculture department. And then we also have outreach partnerships that we work with housing partners, nonprofits, community members across the whole state of Nebraska. So that kind of gives you the scope on who we are and what we do here at NIFA.
Okay. And that's actually a little, that's something that I didn't know. I thought that NIFA was probably financed or backed somehow by the state, but that is not the case. Is that correct, just to confirm that?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. How does NIFA help first-time home buyers?
So we help first-time home buyers in a lot of ways. That is one of our biggest things that we do here at NIFA is help those first-time home buyers. We offer low interest rates on our mortgage loans. We have 30-year fixed rates on our programs. And then we have what's called a down payment assistance loan. It's our home buyer assistance. And Stacy will give you a little more detail on that program here later in our interview. But that is a program for those individuals who don't have the money up front to put down on their loan. And then all of our first-time home buyers have to take home buyer education. That is a requirement to even close on a loan. So that's a huge benefit that we offer to really get those buyers educated in the whole entire home buying process. And then we work with a network of approved Nebraska lenders. So those lenders are specific lenders that can offer NIFA programs. So that is another benefit. We are working with those lenders throughout the state. And then we have training for real estate agents and loan officers so that they're specifically trained in the NIFA programs. We're a very unique type of program. So we really make sure that we're connecting potential buyers with educated realtors and loan officers. So.
Very good. The next question I had, I was looking at the website and I noticed there were a couple different classes, I would term classes of rates, I guess, or different types of loans. One was a government loan and the other was conventional loan. Would you be able to explain a little bit? I think I might know what the difference is, but I'll let the pros handle this here.
Absolutely, absolutely. So the primary difference between a conventional loan and a government loan is backed by and insured by a government agency, such as the Federal Housing Administration or the Veterans Administration. In order to participate with a VA loan, you do need to be either active military or have served in the military. You know, that's kind of an obvious. A conventional loan is really, it's a loan that is not backed by one of those government agencies. It is guaranteed by one of the two, they're called GSEs, Freddie Mac or Fannie Mae. And that is kind of the inherent difference between the two of them. Does that help answer your question?
I think so.
Okay.
In general, I think so. The rates are pretty similar, although with the government-backed loans, instead of the GSEs, they're usually a little bit lower. Would that be accurate?
That is absolutely correct, and that is typically the way NIFA prices their loan interest rates as well. We do try and stay a little bit lower than what other secondary market lenders can offer, which is one of the benefits of taking out a NIFA loan for your first time home. But we try and keep those government rates just a little bit lower to match the market.
Okay. And this is something that I guess I don't understand completely, is if a person takes out a NIFA loan, is that typically a second in addition to a second loan in addition to the first from the government or GSE backed loans, or is that an entire first loan for that NIFA loan?
The NIFA loan itself, the way our programs work, we have the option for both, in all honesty. Our first home program is exactly that. It's a first mortgage loan that can or doesn't have to be backed by a government entity. So it isn't necessarily a second loan. NIFA will offer you that loan, or your lender will offer you a NIFA loan that is an FHA type loan, or is a VA loan, or is a conventional loan, but it is a first mortgage loan. We do have, and I know I'm kind of jumping ahead a little bit, but in addition to that first mortgage loan, we do have the availability for people to get into a home if they don't have as much money to put down. And that is by utilizing our homebuyer assistance, also referred to as a HUBA. You'll hear that from a lender. Homebuyer assistance HBA loan, which allows you to take out a small second mortgage on the home at this time you take out the first mortgage. And it allows you to take a loan out for up to 5% of the purchase price of the property, with a maximum cap on that of $10,000. The advantage to that is that you can get into that home for as little as $1,000 contribution.
Okay. And this is kind of jumping ahead a little bit. That was going to be one of my other questions. Is I noticed on the website that you do have a program that a person can actually buy a home for as little as $1,000 down. Is that accurate?
That is absolutely accurate.
Okay.
I have seen borrowers that have had $1,000 and literally had to bring change to the closing table. You know, it may not be exactly $1,000 on the nose, but you can get into a home with just $1,000 into the transaction. One thing I do want to elaborate on just a little bit for anyone who is tuning in to you, the $1,000 that we talk about as far as your minimum contribution. Some programs have a restriction about how much of that money can be from a gift from either a family member, a friend, a coworker, an employer, etc. We don't have that restriction. That $1,000 can be 100% gift funds. So if you have somebody that is willing to give you that $1,000 to help you get into a home, that's okay with us.
Okay. And certainly in my 20 plus years of being in real estate, And just to disclose, and I should have done this at the very beginning, is to disclose that I do have a real estate license and do other things with real estate. So as well as Amanda and Stacy are not endorsing myself or any products or services that I might offer. So I apologize for not mentioning that right up front, but I did want to discuss that there. I guess my point with that is, over my 20 plus years in real estate, I've certainly seen times, especially when the market has corrected and the person can get upside down in their house pretty easily. Obviously, home ownership, I do think also is very important. I assume part of the education that a home buyer goes through is to let a person know that if they're getting into a house with only 1,000 or less, if it's a gift, you show them some things to be careful of, I guess is the best way I can put that. Is that correct?
And that is absolutely correct. We require, which, I mean, it brings up a great point, Ben. We require all of our home buyers, every borrower on the loan needs to take a home buyer education course. That is critical. It's mandatory for our program. We require that you take that prior to closing on your home loan. What we'd really like is if we could reach every home buyer before they even start shopping. And the reason that I say that is because those home buyer education courses talk a lot about things about knowing how important credit is, what your credit score is, and building positive credit, learning how to budget so that you don't end up in a place where you are very debt heavy and may end up upside down on your home. It also talks about potential inspections that you might ask for when writing a purchase contract on a property, the importance of having a real estate agent involved, and all of those kinds of things that we really wish people could take before they go and write that purchase contract. It doesn't always happen that way, but if we had a way to reach everyone and tell them the importance of that. And I firmly believe that whether or not a NIFA program, a NIFA loan is the best option for you, I think every person who buys a home should take a home buyer education course. Whether it's a NIFA loan or not.
Exactly. I agree with that entirely too. Just from, again, the 20 years that I've been involved in real estate, there have been circumstances where a person just should have not signed the paperwork because they just didn't know enough, and it's a huge financial responsibility. And being able to get into a home for $1,000 is a great opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to make sure that people understand that you're not just signing for some other trinket or something that is very common. So anyway, we've probably beaten that horse enough. I wanted to make it a point and be very clear about that. So that's a great opportunity. Just want to make sure people are also seeing the whole picture.
And I'm really glad that you mentioned that. I think it's important for real estate agents to be aware of that, as you are primarily the first contact with a customer. And it's important that a loan officer also talks about that. I mean,
Correct.
You just cannot stress that to a borrower enough about not being house poor.
Next question I have, and kind of in regards to that process, is there's a lot of variables out there when it comes to a lender, to choosing the right lender. And understandably, you can't say who is good or who is bad, but what should a home buyer look for? What are some of the things that a home buyer should look for in a lender to hopefully get them started on the right foot with that home purchase?
I am glad that you asked that question. I will say, before this interview, I had a phone call from a potential borrower, a new home borrower. And what I told her is not every lender is created equal. And what I mean by that is there are a lot of good lenders out there, but if you're looking for a NIFA loan, not every lender in the state of Nebraska is affiliated with NIFA. So we want to make sure, from our perspective, if you are looking at financing, that you do select a lender that is educated in the NIFA program. Another thing that I would tell you is it's not okay to shop around. I think making phone calls to a number of lenders, whether it's a NIFA lender or if you are not able to do NIFA financing, you're going to know in your gut who you're comfortable with. When they answer that phone, when you talk to them on the phone, you know if that is going to be a relationship that you want to build. And Ben, I think you would concur that this happens with real estate agents also. Absolutely. You know if that person is going to be a good fit for you. One thing I can assure you with NIFA loans, no matter which NIFA lender you select to work with, every one of them will offer you the same interest rate because we dictate those rates. The lenders do not. Okay. So we control that, and we do have certain fee restrictions and limitations that those lenders are required to follow, and we monitor that. So know that some of those safety measures are in place when you're talking to a lender.
That's good to know. And following up on the types of lenders, is there I know that NIFA offers different types of loans for regular residential home purchases, VA loans, USDA farm type loans, I believe. But as far as a new home buyer is concerned, is there one or two of the most common types of loans that you see more often than not?
We actually, it really depends on the area of Nebraska that you are living in or are choosing to live in. We do see quite a number of rural development loans, but those are primarily outside of the Lincoln and Omaha metro areas. Those have population requirements in order to qualify. You know, your community that you're living in has to be under a certain population. Conventional financing, most of the time, a lender I think would tell you that if you can do a conventional loan, there are some financial advantages to that. We see a lot of people doing HBA loans right now. You know, it's very cyclical, but I mean, it really depends on where you're at in the state. And I hate to sound that general, but it really is true.
Sure. No, I understand completely. Those were the most common things, or I think the questions that I had that I felt was the most important for a first-time home buyer. Anything else that we didn't cover or that I didn't ask that you think would be important for a first-time home buyer to know about NIFA?
Do you care if I take that one too, Amanda?
Go for it. You're on a roll.
So the thing that I would like people to know, the benefits of a NIFA loan are typically our rates, the fact that we offer an opportunity for down payment assistance. We do offer reduced mortgage insurance on conventional loan products, the advantage of our homebuyer education, and that you can work with a Nebraska-based lender. We have some national lenders, but all of our lenders have a footprint within the state of Nebraska. And so, I guess what I'm trying to say is we're not an internet lender. Our lender partners are not. I know Amanda, I would like to have her talk a little bit too about just how buyers can access some of that information, but that was my 2 cents about really why you should consider a NIFA loan.
Okay, very good. Amanda,
Yeah.
would you like to just chat about that, or you want to try and take a quick minute I can share your screen with us?
Sure. Yeah. Let's dive in.
Um,
I think I can select this here.
that's assuming I can figure this out, how to let you share your screen. Are you able to click on yours to share screen?
It says you have to give me access.
Okay.
I think if you put your mouse up by my screen, there's 3 dots there.
There you go.
And it should give you the option to let me share.
Okay.
Okay, let's try this out here. Okay, share. You guys see that?
I can.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And I just wanted to chime in a little bit with Stacy's comments on, you're going to know when you find the right lender for you. I bought my first home at a young age, 24 years old. I had no clue that you could even consider looking at other banks, other programs, etc. I just thought, you go to a loan officer, they tell you this is what you can get, and that's what you're stuck with. So that is a rookie mistake that I made, and I really wish I would have been more informed about the NIFA program and homebuyer education. It's just such a helpful tool. But I just wanted to show everybody our NIFA loan website. This is a website we designed specifically for first-time home buyers to go to and just kind of get a general idea of what our programs offer. Out here, you can check your eligibility. And this is just a short form that you fill out. Once you get to the next page, it'll ask, your income, where you plan on purchasing your home. And that way you can see if you may qualify for a NIFA loan. And then it gives you the step-by-step process on how to find a lender in your area, what's the next step to take in this home buying journey. So it's a very handy tool to have. You can always see our interest rates out here. This is always going to be updated information for you, and you can see how, like Ben and Stacy were chatting, it's split by government loan or conventional loan, depending on which route you go or which route your lender suggests you go. Here is where you can, look in a little bit more into our program specifically. Then if you come down here, here is where you can find all of the homebuyer education information. We approve some in-person courses, and you can browse those online here. And then we offer 3 different online courses that you can take at any time, anywhere. And one thing I want to mention about taking homebuyer education, Stacy really loves it if you take homebuyer education really early in the process, because once you take that homebuyer education, that certificate that you receive is valid for a 12-month time frame. So you have a whole year to get through your home buying journey and purchase from when you took the homebuyer education course.
Okay. Does a person need to take one of these specific courses for the path, or is any one of these 4 something that they can take?
Yep. So all of these courses are specifically approved by the NIFA programs. So you have to take one option. And we leave the options out there because we want the home buyer to do their own research and decide which route is going to be best for them. Sometimes loan officers and real estate agents will highly recommend one over the other, but it's really based on what that home buyer is looking for.
Okay.
The only thing that I might add to that is I do believe that the eHome America course is required by rural development. Your loan officer can tell you that with more certainty, but I do believe that that course is required by RD.
Okay.
And then the last piece of this website, like I mentioned earlier, we have a specific training course for real estate agents and loan officers so that they can be known as NIFA specialists. And these specific loan officers are known for, like, they are educated in the NIFA program. So if you're really wanting to find that loan officer or that bank in your area, you can search by, whatever county you live in, city or zip code. And here's all the information on, those specific loan officers. But like I said, this is a very handy tool. It's a great resource to send any potential home buyer to learn more about NIFA programs, or even to just simply take a home buyer education course.
Sure. Okay. Very good. I'll see if I can take back control of the screen. Maybe I have control of the screen right now. I possibly do. Any last words of wisdom from either one of you before we wrap things up here? That's been, I think, a great, really great information for people that are especially first-time home buyers. And Stacy, especially if they're starting the process, that's what we want to do, is educate them before they get too far in the water on that. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. And one thing I will say is, if you have questions as a potential home buyer about our programs, absolutely reach out to any member of the homeownership team. We are delighted to talk to potential home buyers. We are here to help in any way we can. And I might just toss out our phone number so people can reach us. Our switchboard number here is area code 402-434-3900. And so just ask for any member of the homeownership team and we are delighted to help.
very good. Well, Amanda, Stacy, thank you very much for joining me today. And again, I think that's some great information, and hopefully people, if they are first-time home buyers, specifically in Nebraska here, that they will go to the website and check things out. And of course, as you mentioned, every state has a similar entity like NIFA. So no matter where a person's at, I would certainly encourage anybody to be educated on the process, especially buying their first home, because it's a great step, but it's a big first step. So educate yourself. So thank you both for joining me today.
Thank you.